أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل من كان عدوا لجبريل فإنه نزله على قلبك بإذن الله مصدقا لما بين يديه وهدى وبشرى للمؤمنين. من كان عدوا لله وملائكته ورسله وجبريل وميكال فإن الله عدو للكافرين. ولقد أنزلنا إليك آيات بينات وما يكفر بها إلا الفاسقون. أو كلما عاهدوا أحدا نبذه فريق منهم بل أكثرهم لا يؤمنون. ولما جاءهم رسول من عند الله مصدق لما معهم نبذ فريق من الذين أوتوا الكتاب كتاب الله وراء ظهورهم كأنهم لا يعلمون. واتبعوا ما تتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان وما كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقولا إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما ما يفرقون به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق ولبئس ما شروا به أنفسهم لو كانوا يعلمون. ولو أنهم آمنوا واتقوا لمثوبة من عند الله خير لو كانوا يعلمون. صدق الله العظيم.
Jazakallah khair. Beautiful recitation. Awais, you have competition. Okay. Jazakallah khair again, my brother. That was very, very beautiful indeed. May Allah preserve you. Okie dokie. Let's make a start then, everybody. From ayah 97. قُلْ مَنْ كَانَ عَدُوًّا لِجِبْرِيلَ. The Jews had a mentality which was that they didn't like angel Gabriel. They did not like Jibreel alayhi salam. They blamed Jibreel alayhi salam for many calamities. They said, we don't like Jibreel, he brings down problems, he brings down catastrophes. We do like, however, Mikael alayhi salam, alayhimus salam, salam upon them both. They are both great angels in our eyes because they are the angels of Allah. Brothers and sisters, we hold a tenet of faith. If an entity is an angel, if Allah has granted an angel, just being an angel alone, we respect that angel. Yes, come through. Come through. We do not, as the Jews hold the belief, hold different regards to the angels. What Allah considers better, Allah considers better. But we do not disparage or insult or hold low any angel, regardless of what on the surface might seem like a calamity that Allah instructed that angel brings down. Yes, go by. Okay. Yes, what? Go. Okay, now she's finished with her marathons. Let us continue. Okay. I hope that's understood. So the angels, sorry, the Jews disliked Jibreel alayhi salam, they liked Mikael. So they said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we don't agree with your message. Why? Predominantly, Jibreel alayhi salam brings it down. We're not a fan of Jibreel, angel Gabriel. If Mikael was to have brought it down, if angel Mikael was to have brought down your message, we might have accepted, but not from Jibreel. We were not going to accept that. We don't like Jibreel. Okay, and we're going to have another point to make, but I will connect it on very soon, inshallah. Allah says, therefore, anyone who's the enemy of Allah, or the enemy of the angels, or the enemy of any of the messengers of Allah, the enemy of Jibreel or Mikael or any of the angels of Allah, then know that Allah is an enemy of such a person, of such disbelievers. Another tenet of faith, which is what I wanted to mention, she had to run so many times for this. Another tenet of faith, my brothers and sisters, which connects tangentially, I suppose you could say, is that we do not hold the messengers in very different ranks, if that makes sense. We do understand Allah gives them different ranks because He mentioned so. Amana Rasulu bima unsila. And these ayahs are going to come, inshallah. However, we don't say one prophet was so much better than another prophet, or we don't put down a prophet like the ways the Jews would. Okay, my brothers and sisters, whatever Allah says, we'll take. But in general, we hold all of these figures in very high esteem, very high regard, and that is the way to live your life. Okay, this is a part of respect and reverence of all that Allah gives high esteem. I want to talk about now something that I know everyone's going to be very, very interested in, is, of course, ayah 112. Very, very lengthy ayah, one of my favorite ayahs. I recite it all the time. Recite it all the time in Tarawih specifically. Okay, let's talk about it then. The ayah about magic. The ayah about magic. Okay, great. There is, of course, as usual, any of the interesting ayahs, there's a lot of controversy around them, I suppose you could say, but we do have to talk about it, don't we? Let's talk about it then. Magic does exist, my brothers and sisters. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This is a part of Islam. We believe magic exists, full stop. No one can deny magic. Okay? In fact, magic occurs to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. قل هو الله أحد قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس. These surahs you recite all the time, look into them. Black magic, or magic rather, was done on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam suffered. So it does exist. If it could be done to the best of creation, of course it can happen to you and me. One of the greatest forms of magic, one of the most salient forms of magic, is that magic causes a separation between the spouses. So it might be something unseen, but we do believe it exists. Are we meant to therefore be plagued and tormented and tortured by the fact that, oh no, my life is over? Magic exists? No. The prophets believed in magic stronger than any of us can ever believe in magic, because we don't even see it. They didn't see it, but their belief was stronger. Yet they wouldn't let themselves become depressed just because magic exists. I understand it's a scary thought. I understand it's particularly terrifying in the modern day and age, especially when no one else is believing in the modern secular society that we have of such unseen things, and we are to believe in such unseen things. But don't let that bring you down. Okay? Why? Because if Allah wants something bad to happen to you, it doesn't matter if it's through magic, or if it's through a car crash, or if you could just be walking along the road one day. This actually happens all the time to people, and you could get completely, you know what happens, my brothers and my sisters, when you get robbed, or something like this happened to my friend 2 months ago. Okay, you cannot escape a calamity if a calamity is going to befall you. Therefore, do not worry about the fact that negative, well, quote unquote, negative things exist in the dunya. If it's going to happen to you, nothing you will do, nothing you can do, and nothing you ever may do will avoid a calamity. And conversely, if good is going to come to you, you can try your hardest to sway it, my brothers and my sisters, but you'll never be able to stop goodness coming your way. Umar radiallahu anhu, he says a very beautiful narration. He says, beautiful saying of his own. He says, I can rest assured, more or less, the Arabic is a bit different, but to paraphrase, I can rest assured in the comfort, knowing that that which is good for me will always come to me. And that which is negative for me, that which is bad for me, I will never be able to avoid it. If it's going to happen, my brothers and sisters, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter if it's in the form of magic, if it's in the form of an argument, if it's in the form of a physical hurt. If a negative thing is going to happen, a negative thing is going to happen. But that doesn't mean there isn't brightness on the other side. So don't let such things, the form of calamities, betray your trust in Allah. Okay, at the end of the day, everything is to bring you closer to Allah. Everything is a blessing in disguise. If you go through a tough time, doesn't matter what it is. Okay, if you go through a tough time and that makes you put your head down on the ground in sujood to your Allah, wasn't that calamity then 1,000,000 times better than any blessing that could have come to you? If a calamity makes you break down in front of your Lord like you've never broken down before, wasn't that calamity nothing but good? Think about it. Oftentimes when we're going through good times, we're furthest away from our Allah. And it really takes a calamity to set us straight and really remember everything Allah has given us and really just turn back to Him. So calamities have their place in the dunya, my brothers and my sisters. Do not be afraid of them, okay? With that being said, yes, magic exists, okay? It does exist. It's a part of our faith. Does it exist in the way everyone talks about it in our cultures? No, not exactly. There are definitely some truths and there are definitely some stretched truths, okay? First thing, however, before we go into any of these deep topics, the main thing, it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have about what is correct and isn't correct, the Islamic views on magic and etc., etc. The main thing, it doesn't matter if you don't have all of this, the main thing is that you know everything comes from Allah. Everything. If you can hold that firmly in your heart, if you can be like Umar radiallahu anh and just know that it doesn't matter what comes in store, it all comes from Allah, you'll be fine. Wallahi, you'll be absolutely fine. You'll be content. So if you can get your mentality straight, then every piece of knowledge that you gain about the things that seem scary or the things that don't seem scary will be good, okay? So get your mentality right first, my brothers and sisters. It's all from Allah. With that being said, let's talk about it. Magic comes down, my brothers and my sisters, in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Around the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam in Babylon. And this is attested in the Quran, ayah 102, the ayah of magic. What the ayah regarding magic? Now, the scholars have a difference of opinion. Here's where all the debate or discussion begins, I suppose you could say. Who exactly are Harut and Marut, as you can see here? It comes down to two angels, Harut and Marut. Tabari, one of the most famous historians of our tradition, and from whom you've probably read lots and lots of seerah, as well as hadith, holds an opinion that not many people, if anyone, really agrees with, where he says that Harut and Marut, in fact, were not angels. Okay, no one really likes to take his opinion on this, but it does exist. So if you've heard that one before, Tabari says it. Okay, all the other major scholars mention no, Harut and Marut, exactly like Allah says here, were angels. Okay, and Allah does, through these angels, bring down magic upon the earth. Around the time of Solomon, King Solomon. Who was King Solomon? Potentially the son of Dawood alayhi salam. And Sulaiman alayhi salam, King Solomon, was such a prophet, if you do not know, my brothers and my sisters, that he could, through the will of Allah, his miracle, one of his miracles, was that he could communicate with the animals. And he could command the animals, he could command the jinn. A lot of these creatures were doing his bidding because of what Allah blessed him with. Now, in the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, he took many books to do with magic. He took many of these books that had a lot to do with magic and he buried them. Okay, he buries them under his throne, and he makes sure that no devil essentially can come near these books without being burnt. So they can't, essentially. After the death of Sulaiman alayhi salam, now the devils, the shayateen, they convince the people, I'm cutting a very long story short, they convince the people to rediscover magic, essentially. And they say Sulaiman alayhi salam was a disbeliever, he practiced magic, look, it's under his throne, you get the idea. Sulaiman alayhi salam, Allah says, where is it? Here it is. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ, from the word kafir. Sulaiman alayhi salam was not a kafir, he was not a disbeliever. Do not get this confused, okay? Sulaiman alayhi salam was not a disbeliever. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ, however, it was the shayateen, kafaru, that they disbelieved. يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ, that they taught the people sihr. Sihr is magic. Okay, and Allah goes into the story. And like we've mentioned here, it can cause disruption, discord between man and wife, but everything, and look how beautifully Allah finishes it here, everything that happens from Allah. Nothing that happens except with the permission of Allah. So if magic is going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you. Don't worry about it, my brothers and my sisters. If just the way any calamity, if you could be walking down the road and honestly a tire can just fall down onto your head and you can die. This happens. Okay, you can be walking. I have walked down a road on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side of the road, I watched a tile slip off of a roof and crack on the ground, shattered into a million pieces. That could have been my head, and I would have been dead. Honestly, this happened 5 years ago. I could have actually been dead if I was on the other side of the road. My brothers and sisters, things can happen if they're going to happen, okay? Allah says nothing happens except by Allah's will. It doesn't matter if it's magic or not. And the people who decided to learn magic, whoever goes into magic, whoever studies magic, because it does exist, we believe it exists, Allah says, whoever studies magic, complete kafir, gone against the will of Allah, complete disobedience, complete every negative thing you can imagine, is haram, forbidden, of the highest level, my brothers and my sisters, to study this darkness. Essentially, it does exist, and you will not see any Jannah. You will not see any Jannah. Allah makes this clear. You will only see Jahannam, the fire, if you go into this magic, if you go into magic in this dunya. And there will be people who will go into it. People will practice magic and they'll gain things in this world from it, but they will gain nothing from the hereafter. Absolutely nothing. Now, a point of contention. Can jinns possess people? Can jinns possess people? Okay. We generally believe yes, in that we're mostly told yes, they can. Do the early scholars in the first few hundred years of Islam itself make any mention of jinns possessing people? No. Am I saying, therefore, that am I rejecting everything that modern Islam teaches us? What I'm saying, my brothers and my sisters, is before the time of Ibn Taymiyyah, no one had ever mentioned jinns possessing people in the same way that the Christians say that that devils can possess people. That it doesn't seem to be something that Allah anywhere in the Quran indicates, and it doesn't seem to be something anywhere found in the Hadith. We're not saying black magic, and here's why people get this confused. We're not saying, however, and I'm not saying, no scholar is saying black magic doesn't exist, because Allah makes that clear. What a lot of scholars do say, however, is that jinns cannot possess people in the way that you understand from the movies, and the way that you understand from Christian creed and aqidah. Jinns are connected to black magic, potentially, and of course, we understand that when Allah mentions the devils in the Quran, but can they possess you exactly? Allah knows best, but it doesn't seem to be the case in the way that the Prophet ﷺ understood it and was mentioned amongst our Salaf. It doesn't seem to be mentioned at all. It doesn't seem to be in the first few generations of Islam. It seems to have come as a belief later on. I'm not here to tell you what is right or wrong. I'm here to explain that it hasn't been seen in the early period of Islam. Okay? So that is at least some small comfort, my brothers and my sisters. We do 100% believe black magic exists. So this strife and these things that can go wrong, yes. But possession in the same way, potentially not. Lastly, let's talk about the famous story of destiny in Sulaiman alayhi salam's time. Okay, now this is a beautiful ayah, by the way. I would highly recommend you memorize this. Really, really nice to read. Learn the translation as well. Really beautiful. Allah champions Sulaiman alayhi salam. Allah backs up Sulaiman alayhi salam. Allah supports his prophet. This is our Allah, who supports his prophets, who supports his human beings, who supports his creation in the face of anyone who slanders you, in the face of anyone who backbites you. Allah has your back, my brothers and my sisters. This is our Lord, okay? So he champions and he supports Sulaiman alayhi salam here, even long after Sulaiman alayhi salam's passing away. Learn this, my brothers and my sisters. Anyway, let's finish with the famous story of Sulaiman alayhi salam, because he doesn't really come again. So very sad reality is we're not going to touch upon Sulaiman alayhi salam again. In the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, and there's different versions of this story, so I'm just going to more or less give you one of them. There is a man, not Sulaiman alayhi salam himself, but a man. And this man is walking along the street and he sees the angel of death. Okay, he sees the angel of death. And he is absolutely terrified, as you can imagine, because the angel of death looks at him and has a look on his face. The angel of death has a particular look on his face, okay? So then the man is absolutely terrified because he's seen the angel of death with a very scary look on his face, no less. And he comes to Sulaiman alayhi salam. He says, I've seen the angel of death. I need to get away from here. I need to take me as far away as you can. You have, Allah's granted you powers. Allah's given you abilities. Please take me as far away as you can to the furthest region of the earth. Just take me as far as you can. Okay? Sulaiman alayhi salam, Allah has given him many abilities. So Sulaiman alayhi salam bids the wish. He allows it to occur, and the man goes all the way as far as possible. Okay? Some say to Hind. Exactly where, Allah knows best. But anyway, far away from the land Sulaiman alayhi salam was in, through the powers of Sulaiman alayhi salam, through Allah. Okay, so now the man is very, very far away. And what happens? The angel of death takes his life way off on the other side of the world. The angel of death, my brothers and my sisters, do you know why he had that look on his face the first time he sees the man? Upon conversation, he says, I had a very strange look on my face in that I was so confused when I saw that man just minutes ago, just an hour ago, just such a short period of time ago in the land of Sulaiman alayhi salam. I was so confused because Allah had told me to take his life just minutes later, just a very short time later, way off on the other side of the world. I was so confused. How can this man be here? How? And that's why I had that look on my face. My brothers and my sisters, the angel of death himself wanted or expected to take the man's life in one place, but ended up taking it way off in another, just because that man was trying to escape death itself. Or if not to escape death itself, to keep his life going just a little bit longer. You get the idea, my brothers and my sisters. When it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And when it's your time to go, not even a prophet can help you. If Allah is ready to take your life, my brothers and my sisters, the angel of death, it is your time to go. And you could run 1,000,000 miles, but the angel of death will still be taking your life through the will of Allah. So do not run from death. Embrace it. And this is my core message, I suppose you could say, throughout Surah Baqarah. Embrace it, my brothers and my sisters. Just be ready, my brothers and my sisters, to answer to Allah every single night. Be happy with the way you spend the day. Every single night, be ready. If Allah was to take your life tonight, you feel as though you've been good to everyone that you've met. You feel as though you've read your salah properly, and you feel as though you've been close to his book. This Quran that we love so dearly, my brothers and my sisters, that you can see on the screen in front of you now, this Quran that Allah himself champions his creation. This is our book and this is our Allah. Subhanaka rabbana rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Tomorrow, from ayah 103 to the end of 112. From the start of 103 to the end of 112. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.